Hello, everyone. My name is Akshay, and we are back again in a discussion with none other than but Mr. Vineet Gupta, who is the founder of Ashoka University and Plaksha University. So, welcome to the discussion, Vineet sir.
Thank you.
So, for the people who watched our last video, we had asked the question about what makes Ashoka and Plaksha University is different, to which Mr. Gupta said that it will take a lot of time to answer that question, but he still tried to answer that in 5 minutes. So today we have booked the session entirely about Ashoka and Plaksha universities. So we'll start with our questions to Vineet sir. So Vineet sir, uh, why why does India need universities like Ashoka and Plaksha? That's our first question to you.
So, just in terms of data, Akshay, India currently is at about a 26 to 27% gross enrollment ratio. Now, what this means is that approximately 1 in 4 students are able to go to college. And if you look at most of the Western economies like South Korea, which have progressed tremendously, their gross enrollment ratios for most of these developed economies are more than 70%. In fact, Korea, which got independent pretty much the same time that India did, their GER is close to 90%. So there is a clear linkage between the education levels of a country, and we are using gross enrollment ratio as an indicator, and the economic progress that a country has made. So that's one point. Now, where is India's challenge on GER? We are 26, 27%. Even if to get to 50%, forget the 70% of developed countries, even to get to 50%, China, by the way, has crossed 50%. India and China were at similar levels at the turn of the century. We will, so at 26, 27%, there are currently approximately maybe 3.5 crore students in higher education in India, 35 million. Now, but in the age group of 10 to 19, if you take that age group, India has almost 15 crore plus students, right? Because India is a very young nation. Our young population, this age group of 11 to 19 is in fact the highest in the world. So why this number is important? Because all of these students are coming up to go to college. Somebody who's between 11 to 18, in the next 1 to 8 years, these people have to come to college, right? Now, where are we going to find colleges for them, right? Current enrollment, 3.5, 15 crore students in the pipeline. Where are we going to find colleges? So India will need to more than double its capacity of colleges in the next 10 years. India has about 1,000 universities. We have about 40,000 colleges. We will need to double this in 10 years. That is the sort of capacity challenge we face.
Correct.
So that's number one challenge. So we need more colleges and universities. There's no doubt it's reflected everywhere. Number of students going abroad, the GER numbers, more and more people coming above a certain threshold of income and wanting to go to college. So in fact, every economic data, demographic data, everything suggests that we need a huge expansion of our college system. And by the way, this challenge cannot be addressed without the role of online learning, technology, etc. But that doesn't mean we don't need more colleges. So India needs many more universities. That's number one. The second, so we have a problem of numbers. We have a problem of quantity. The second big problem we have is a problem of quality. While we've built some great institutions, the IITs, IIMs, etc., on the dimension of research, Indian universities are still far behind. On education, our colleges are doing extremely well, I think. Many of them, not every, but on the dimension of research, our colleges are still quite behind. And that's the reason if you pick up any top university ranking, whether the QS ranking or the Times Higher Education ranking you don't find many universities figuring in the top 200. You'll find 2, 3, 4 names, right? For the country of our size and the sort of intellectual capital we have, maybe 2, 3 countries figure in, which is dismal, right? If you look at the number of faculty seats which are vacant in many institutions across India, that number again is huge. So both on quantity and quality, India needs to do better. And that's where universities like Ashoka and Plaksha fit in. Both Ashoka and Plaksha, they are a new form of institution building. They have been created in a collective philanthropy manner by a large number of people. Both these universities are built to promote excellence. Both these institutions, and Ashoka far greater level in a very short span. Plaksha is still very young, just about a year. Ashoka has been there for 8 years, but in that 8 years, Ashoka has already acquired a premier. It's required the reputation of being a premier university in the liberal arts and sciences, which is commendable, right? And the reasons for that success, of course, I'll talk later. But India needs many more universities, but it needs many more universities of high quality. And that quality, whether in terms of curriculum, whether in terms of faculty, whether in terms of infrastructure, whether in terms of how we transform our students from the time they come in to the time they graduate, on all of these dimensions, Ashoka and Plaksha stand out. So these institutions, in some sense, will herald the transformation of Indian higher education. As I said, we need to build another 1,000 universities in next 10 years. The question is, what will our new universities look like? Right? A lot of capacity that has got added in India, unfortunately, especially in the private sector, is suboptimal. It's not very high quality. And we can't just keep adding capacity which is not of international standards. So Ashoka and Plaksha, that's why they are so important, that they are both international quality in every dimension. And they are, in some sense, a role model for how new universities in India should come up.
Right.
So that's why it's important. The building of both these institutions is important for Indian higher education.
Right, sir. So that means, we do not just need the quantity in number of adding more universities to India, but quality has to be on the most important list. Quality education is definitely required in India. So we have heard that Ashoka and Plaksha universities, they have many founders. And say we compare it to other universities, we have not heard about a concept like collective philanthropy and having too many founders. Why does Ashoka and Plaksha has so many founders?
No, that's a great question. See, universities in India have been set up in two ways. One, the government sets them up. That's come with public funding, with government funding, which comes out of taxpayer money. The other is private people set it up. Now, if you look at private institutions, which is what Ashoka and Plaksha are, most of the private institutions in India have been set up either by one individual or one family, or maybe a group of people, a small group of people. Ashoka and Plaksha brought in this idea of collective philanthropy, which is a large number of people contributing to make the university happen. And founder could be another name for a donor. It's just that we have many, I would say we have many donors, right? Now, to give them a tag of importance, we do call them founders. So because they have, put their money to a good cause. But in some sense, this is an idea of a collective philanthropy where many number of people are contributing. Now, why is this idea so unique and important? Number one, your ability to raise funds. Higher educational institutions require tremendous amount of capital. And one individual or one family, no matter how wealthy they are, will have a limit to the amount of resources they will plow into a single educational institution. The collective philanthropy model allows Ashoka and Plaksha to raise endless funds. It's more difficult to raise because you have to literally go to different people, different corporates. but your funnel can be forever. We can keep raising money for the next 100 years, right? So it allows us to raise far more capital and far more resources than an institution funded by one person, one family, or even a group of 2, 3 people. And the more resources the institution has, the better the institution is likely to be. So that's the first reason. The second is that if you look at the list of donors or founders that Ashoka has or Plaksha, these are extremely eminent people who've done very well in their individual spheres of life. They are great entrepreneurs, great business leaders, uh, people who've built great companies in India. They are people, great professionals, CEOs of companies, consultants, investment bankers. So, and all of them are doing extremely well in their own lives. The only reason they are coming to institutions like Ashoka and Plaksha is to see a high quality, great institution being set up in India, right? So the motivation is only excellence. The motivation here is not building a name for yourself. The motivation is not earning more money. The motivation is only building a great institution. And I think these two reasons, the capacity to raise more funding and the construct, fundamentally, the construct of the institution that we want to build an excellent place, which is embedded in the mission of the founders. These two things give you a good structure to start. They already put you on a significant advantage. And the third thing then does come is whenever you have a great set of people involved, the collective network of these people can open up more doors to faculty recruitment, student recruitment, setting up good research centers, building great collaborations with industry, building great collaborations with foreign universities. So the network, collective network of this founder group is a big strength. So for these reasons, both Ashoka and Plaksha stand out and chose this model of collective philanthropy.
All right. So, to start a university like Ashoka and Plaksha, now you've answered that collective philanthropy. Why was it required, and why does Ashoka and Plaksha have too many founders? And having said that, say after laying the foundation of Ashoka and Plaksha University, I'm sure that one of the main challenges would have been in the earlier times was to how to get more students, because at the time when Ashoka was established and Plaksha were established, there was a certain uh, you know, what would you say? There was a certain thing in people's mind or students' mind that they want to go for this course, ideally an engineering course or a medical degree. And since the kind of courses that Ashoka and Plaksha universities offer, which is more into liberal arts education. So, what were those challenges, in terms of getting more and more students, and how is it addressed in the initial times? And how many students does Ashoka and Plaksha now have? We would like you to answer that, sir.
Yeah. So just to correct Akshay, while Ashoka is in the whole space of liberal arts and sciences, but Plaksha is a technology university. So in that sense, they are both different. I'll start with Ashoka because that started in 2014 and was a much bigger problem. India and Indian students, Indian parents have a fascination with science and technology. And when Ashoka came up, the whole idea of liberal arts was unknown in India, right? So at Ashoka, we literally had to go from school to school. And I remember in the first year, we probably made 300 presentations going from school to school and really talking about what Ashoka stands for. And Ashoka came up with this unique curriculum where we provide breadth. So students do a breadth of courses in their first year and in first year and a half. And then they choose their depth. Then they decide what do they want to major in. And then they choose that. So this unique combination of a breadth and depth is what Ashoka brought. Now, many American universities have already been doing it. So it's not that this is unique to, but we were the first in India to be able to do that. And what I will say is that students today and parents today are quite discerning. They are able to recognize what is different, what stands out. Everybody is not convinced. Some feel this is a new idea, doesn't make sense. I rather choose a safe, conventional option. So, but many students and many parents buy this idea, but it requires face to face, door to almost like a door to door selling, if I may say, that you have to go from school to school, people to people, and explain the idea of what we did. Many town halls, we did many road shows across cities. We had an aggressive social media outreach. We never advertised. So Ashoka Plaksha by policy do not spend even 1 rupee on advertising. We do not advertise, but we do spread the message through word of mouth. And although difficult, but then it builds the brand. And after Ashoka started, then the best way to build your brand is by word of mouth.
Right.
And people who come to Ashoka, they spread the word outside, and then more students want to come, and the message sort of spreads. Now, in the case of Plaksha, which is a technology university, we had a different challenge. Although India has a strong fascination with engineering and technology, but again, we have great established engineering institutions, the IITs really being right out there. And the question we would be asked immediately is, how is Plaksha going to be different from the IITs, right?
Yeah, that was one of the questions in our list.
Yes. And then if you look, the kind of courses we chose at Plaksha, the engineering disciplines, computer science and artificial intelligence, robotics and cyber physical systems, biological systems engineering, data science, economics and business. These are again very distinctive. And this, I can say, these 4 degrees, not only in the context of India, but perhaps anywhere in the world, stand out. So a lot of original thinking on the kind of degrees we wanted to bring in. The curriculum at Plaksha, again, if you look at, is very distinctive and very different from any other college. It is what engineering education should be in the 21st century. And then, of course, the choice and quality of faculty. So while Plaksha was competing in a space which was already very crowded, Ashoka, there was a different challenge that we had to create new space for something that was unknown. So two very different challenges in that sense, and they had to be dealt differently. But the way of doing it is very similar, door to door, one-on-one, school to school. You keep spreading your message, make presentations, do town halls, and spread the message. So that's what the approach has been.
All right, sir. So, one of the very most important thing also is to, since definitely the road shows were successful, the seminars that, you held in different schools to tell more and more students about Ashoka and Plaksha universities, they definitely resulted in, getting a lot of students and, for Ashoka and Plaksha University. Now, spreading the word of mouth through already students that who are studying in Ashoka and Plaksha University, I'm sure faculty also plays a much larger role in retaining those students definitely, and then spreading the word of mouth from these students. So, what is the role of the faculty? That that a university has.
So at the end of the day, Akshay, great universities are about great faculty and great students, right? Everything else is supporting cast, right? Whether it's the campus is supporting infrastructure, people in the administration are supporting faculty and students, but at the heart of the institution is really faculty and students. And they both have, one attracts the other. Unless you have outstanding faculty, you can't attract high quality students. When you attract high quality students, that is motivating for faculty. Faculty love to teach students who are engaged. You go and speak to any faculty member in Ashoka and they will tell you, what I love about Ashoka is its students. You ask any student at Ashoka, what do you like about Ashoka? They will tell you, what we love about Ashoka is our faculty. So this is a relationship, which feeds on each other. Good students want great faculty and great faculty want good students. So the role of faculty is paramount in building an outstanding institution. You have to set up a high barrier to entrance of faculty members. You have to recruit them carefully. There is a high bar on tenure process, who makes tenure. There is a high bar on the kind of research output expectations that we have. There is a high bar on the sort of teaching that we would like. And of course, if you want to attract high quality talent, then you are also competing with the best institutions in the world. So what you pay faculty, what sort of environment you give them, what sort of freedom you give them, what sort of ecosystem you create becomes extremely important. So you have to build the right DNA to be able to attract good quality faculty. And here, attracting the first 15, 20 faculty members becomes extremely important. If they are of the right caliber, then they will go and recruit more faculty members who are perhaps as good as them or even better. And then these faculty members, not only in designing curriculum in the way courses are imparted, but also as a magnet for students. These faculty members, then they play the role of institution builders. So I cannot overemphasize the importance of having good quality faculty members in institution building. And I firmly believe that for universities and institutions, if you get this piece wrong, then it is very, very difficult to build a high quality place. So this is really, really fundamental.
Right. So hiring the right kind of faculty definitely matters because, like you said, if you have the right kind of faculty, then obviously it will attract more students, and the faculty also stays happy and motivated and determined. Once they have a good batch of students as well. So, can we, sir, do we have professors from all over the world? Let's say, do we have professors who are from some foreign universities and the foreign nationals? Do we have them in Ashoka and Plaksha?
So Ashoka has a much bigger faculty body now, almost 150 faculty. And I would think almost 30% faculty are of foreign origin. Amongst faculty who are Indian or of Indian origin, many have been abroad. So I would think almost 50 to 60% of our faculty have done their PhDs abroad, have taught in institutions abroad. 30% are distinctively foreigners. And this sort of provides a great mix. And what we are very particular also is where they did their PhDs from, where did they teach before coming here. And we have faculty with PhDs from Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, Stanford. I mean, you name it, the top institutions of the world. Many of our faculty members have taught there or done their PhDs in these institutions. And in India too. I mean, some have gone to Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi University, the IITs, the Indian Statistical Institute. So we have presidency in Calcutta. So we have faculty members who have very high pedigree and come from great backgrounds.
Well, sir, that's good to know, and I'm sure that all of the people who are watching this video, by this time they must be very sure on their decisions as to why should they be joining Ashoka and Plaksha universities. And moving on to the next question, what is your goal regarding both the universities? Can we say that Ashoka and Plaksha universities will be the Howard and Yale of India?
Well, I would think that maybe 50 years, 100 years from now, these two should be top institutions. Ashoka more in the tradition of a liberal arts university, which is what Harvard is or Yale is, and Plaksha more in the context of a technology university, and the role models there could be an MIT, Caltech, or a Carnegie Mellon. But I think more than emulating any other role model, these should establish distinct brands for themselves. And the world and other universities in India should look upon Ashoka and Plaksha as really just torchbearers of excellence. 50 years, 100 years from now, they should be the torchbearers of excellence, and others should emulate them rather than these institutions trying to emulate any other institution. But I have no doubt in my mind that maybe 50 to 100 years from now, both these institutions should be, of course, there's a long road and many right things to be done on execution. But I have no doubt in my mind that both of these will be top institutions, not only in India, but also in the world, in terms of teaching, in terms of research, and also in terms of impact on society, making the world a better place.
So since we say that maybe in 50 or 100 years down the line, definitely Ashoka and Plaksha universities both will reach the most highest standards of education in India, and in fact you said that in the world. So just because you said in the world, uh, do you have a vision of opening a branch or branch campus in any other part of the world, sir? Do you have any such plans?
Not, I don't think at the moment, because both institutions are very young. Plaksha is just 1 year old. Ashoka has been there for almost 8 years, but in the life cycle of an institution, 8 years is also very, very small. So both institutions still have long way to go. They still have to navigate quite a bit. So I don't, any such conversation in today's day and age will be premature, but who knows? I think if the vision and these institutions develop into what they do, then perhaps why not? I was just told that IIT Delhi is now opening a campus in Abu Dhabi. So, and IIT Delhi today is one of India's top engineering institutions. So let's see.
Right. So I think IT Delhi also opened up a branch in Dubai.
They will in Abu
They
Dhabi.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, right, in Abu Dhabi. They are in talks with it. Yes, right. So, all right, we are hoping definitely that both our universities go around the world, and viewers down the line, you may set branches, and we hope for the best for both the universities, sir. So, this was Mr. Vineet Gupta having booked a full session about Ashoka and Plaksha University for our audience. I hope all of you now are fully aware about how is Ashoka University different and how is Plaksha University different from all the other universities. So, and signing off for now, and it was very nice having you, Vineet, sir.
Thank you, Akshay.